Hello, welcome back and thanks for joining me. It's Judy from Thistledew Creations, and I showed this upholstery fabric samples book in a previous video. Today I'm going to show you just a brief video of me dismantling it, taking it apart to get at the actual samples. So they're usually really thick cardboard backing, which you could use if they're nice and flat. This one's a little bent, but if they were really good and flat, or if you can get them flat, one about this size would make a good writing board. Like you cover it with pretty paper. It's 8 3/4 by 10 1/4 to that bend. So when you have a junk journal and it's full of pockets and tucks and tags and belly bands and embellishments and everything, it's hard to write in it because of the stuff that's underneath the page. So if you have a really firm, thick cardboard board, you can put it behind the page that you want to write on, and then you can write. So you can take a back piece like this and cover it with pretty paper that matches the book and create yourself a writing board. There's also a clear plastic pocket on the back side of this one. So you could leave this side, maybe decorate around it, and then you've got one more place to put some things. Like maybe you want to stash a tear ruler in there, or maybe you want to stash just some more cardstock or papers in there. So that's kind of cool that it has that pocket. So I guess that's like, this is a list of what's included, the price list, but you could also have it as a sign out sheet if you were lending these books out. So what I normally do is I just sort of start prying on it. And if I can do it just by hand without wrecking my nails, then I will do that. And you usually will get this far without tools, if you have any strength in your fingers at all. Some people don't, I understand that. Then you're going to be faced usually with some staples. And these are really usually quite long staples. Now I have gone at them just with my letter opener and been able to get them pried loose. You can go at them with some pliers and pull and twist. You just want to be careful that you don't break it off before you get it out far enough. This can be pretty hard on your hands and you need a bit of strength, but see, it's about an inch long staple and quite pointy, so be careful with them. I don't think you're going to want to save these for anything, but I suppose technically you could use them for something. They're very strong wire. I'll probably not bother. Because this is still cardboard and it's quite thick, but it's a little on the soft side. You should be able to get your pliers in underneath there, even if you have to start by prying it up a little bit first. See, that one come right out just with a little prying. And then I did go out to our shop and picked up this tool. It's a little miniature pry bar that Brian picked up at an auction sale. He's always buying things full of tools. So that gets under there and gives you some leverage to twist and get that out. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So just twist, press and twist, and it'll come out. It's just going into fabric. Now there might be another staple partway down, because that staple obviously didn't go all the way through this big thick stack. And then that will come off. This is like a shoelace, the handle that they use to carry it. So it's just tied on both sides with a little knot. So I'll take those knots out and save that cord. This one is a nice 3 different tones of beige cord. And again, you might want to use a tool to get started on it. just to get that loosened up enough to be able to pull that out. This has a bit of extra plastic that's preventing it from coming out, so I'm going to cut that off. A little extra bit there. That's why it was having trouble coming undone. And then this can go in with my other laces and embellishments and ribbons and stuff. It could also be taken apart, and you got three strands that will be quite curly, which would maybe be fun to use too. So I can just take this, now that it's undone, one side's undone. Get that out through the hole. And then this one, I don't even need to undo it right now, as long as I can get that through that hole. So that's about a 12-inch piece of this 3-strand twisted cord that I can use to embellish a journal, or to make a handle on a journal, or even to bind a journal possibly. So there's that. And then we've got this piece of clear flexible material that you can use to make shaker pockets or make clear pockets. Let's take that masking tape off of there. So I have a spot where I keep stuff like this, and even just if you use it to glue onto, you could take tissue paper or napkins and use white glue and use this as your base so that it doesn't stick. But this is what I'm really after, is these fabrics. And there's some hot glue, it looks like, in between the first couple of pieces anyway. Some interfacing. But this is what I'm really after, is the ticking stripe. It was the reason she called me about this. So I'm going to separate them into piles of ticking stripe, and then these other, this is another one that there was a lot of, which is I called it herringbone, but it's really more of a basket weave. It's 3 stripes, creating like a basket weave effect. And I don't know how hard it would be to get the hot glue off. Sometimes it isn't that hard, but I can also just cut it off. Don't have to worry about it too much. So those are my 2 main patterns that I'm after. And then there will be a bunch more this size and a bunch of skinny ones too. So I'm just going to kind of make myself some piles as I take it apart. But that just shows you how easy it is to get into them. Now, a lot of people fuss with trying to get these pieces of paper off of the back of the samples. I have learned to not fight it. I just use this piece or this section. I'll back it with more cardstock and make a tag with it. If you're sewing with it, it would be a different story. You'd want to get as much of the fabric as you can, and these ones are mostly not covered. Some of them have strips up the side, some of them are completely covered, but these ones aren't too bad. You would only be losing a small bit if you decided to just cut it off. But yeah, I don't worry about those anymore. I tried a bunch of the methods that I saw on YouTube, and none of them were fun, and I didn't think I wanted to be doing them. So taking the book apart is kind of fun because you're seeing what you're getting, and you're making piles and you're sorting, and all those things are fun to us crafters, right? And there's quite a bit of hot glue between these ones. Even on a hot day like today, they're not wanting to come apart. So again, you might just decide it's not worth fighting with it and just cut them apart. I love the ticking stripes. I'm going to try my best to get every bit of that I can. And even this is great. It's smooth enough. I think you could stamp on it, maybe crude designs, nothing too intricate. But you could certainly use it as little snippets in behind sentiments and things like that. God, this piece just really does not want to come loose. It's probably because the texture of this fabric is just holding onto the glue. So I will just do this, just cut them off. I'm going to put that with the ticking stripe, and then I'll start a little pile of solids here. I'm just so excited to get using the ticking. It's such a great farmhouse feel that I just love. And these checks remind me of tea towels. I think I'd like to keep all these pinks together, because I'll find ways to use them as coordinates. If you have a good grip, you might be able to do some tearing like that. If your hands aren't strong, that might not be so easy for you, but I'm still able to manage it. I think I will keep these pinks in their own little bundle. I have a lot of piles, I think. They're pretty much already sorted for you, because they tend, when they make these books up, they tend to keep like colors together because they are coordinates, and they kind of take the guesswork out of being a designer a little bit. I love this really linen look. Here's another piece that's just a little darker. Put the linens with the solids. Again, these are all the same color, but more likely just to be used here and there as neutrals, whereas the pink, I might want to do a pink project. That's what I'm thinking. I love the plaids. I should separate plaids for my Outlander journal. There's some staples sticking up in this next layer here, so they must be coming up from the bottom. So watch for that. Be careful. I don't think I cut myself, but I certainly felt it. And it's going to ruin my nail polish if I'm not careful. But you can see the ends of them there coming up from the bottom. So just be careful of that. These ones are a lot whiter background. And there's more ticking. So these are really well put together. You know, they really don't need the glue. I don't think. Another big check. And these wide stripes will probably just be used as solids, small pieces, and use it as a solid. This is pretty. Kind of summery, watery blues. And these are really pretty. I might do a pile of blues with my pile of pinks up here, because I could see that being a really pretty journal. blues and grays. With a little bit of beige. Does anybody else remember the old striped tea towels? The ticking stripe, I think of mattresses and pillows, but this kind of stripe makes me think of tea towels. Some greenish hues, which are always good to have for any botanical designs that you're doing. Having that little bit of green accent. So I might just do leave those together as well. Because I am leaving them together, I suppose I could leave them stuck, but I kind of want them unstuck. I want to make it as easy to use it when it comes time to use it as possible. If I have to do this in the middle of a project, I'm just not going to. So that's why I do this as a separate little task and get it done so that I will use the craft supply in question. Otherwise, I may not ever use it. I've got books and books of them that I haven't done this to yet. And I probably will, they'll probably stay that way for a very long time because it's too much of a hassle to stop what you're doing and do this. So part of what we do when we're recycle crafting is tasks like this. Now you could easily do this in front of the television. I'm not, just because I'm filming for you, but I could certainly do this in front of the television. That's a pretty plaid. Blue and green. Put that up with my other plaid. And then these are just great for stamping on or covers. They're nice and sturdy for covers. So now you're really seeing those staples. Into some more denim-y blues, which I also like. Move these greens up and start a blue pile. More of that basket weave. Nice 1/2 inch wide stripe. And a great large check. And then we're into more of a navy blue. Which I also really like. I think I'm going to just keep those in with the rest of this stuff. It's not something I'm likely to do a journal in. It's just something I'm going to try to use a lot. Navy. Yeah, the glue is really unnecessary. But it's there, so we got to deal with it. pull them up off the staple so that it's easier to pull them apart. Great plaid there. These remind me of like a cabana, outdoor furniture, and what do you call it? Awnings, that kind of thing. Yeah, so there was just 2 sets of staples, one from the bottom up and one from the top down. I thought there might be a set in the middle somewhere, but they reach. And these fray pretty well. Look at how well they fray. Nice. Even that piece that I tore off is a nice pale blue. That would be quite usable. I know it sounds insane if you're new to junk journaling, but yeah, save that piece. It's crazy. I know. Hi, Mama. Yeah? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people in YouTube land. She's asking me, why are you talking? We're home alone. This one's really stuck. Cabana stripes. And then we're into some grays. So as usual, I'm going to say it again, if there's something here, I mean, I'm not likely going to want to part with any of my ticking stripe. I'm always looking for ticking stripe. But if there's something else here that you're interested in, do let me know and we can share. I certainly have enough of this kind of thing. My plaids I'm kind of wanting to save, but I would share. Or if there's a certain type of upholstery fabric that you are looking for, send me a picture of it and I'll go through some of my other books and see if I have it. There is a like a flip through of all my books in my playlist, fabric sample playlist. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but you'll be able to find it if you go on my channel and look at the playlists. So if you go through those old videos, there might be still some of those samples available for trade or Happy Mail, or even purchase if you want a lot and don't have anything to trade. You can do a purchase. I'm not opposed to it. It's not my intention to try to sell you something, but if that's what it ends up being, that's okay with me. We do have PayPal. And if you're in Canada, we can just do e-transfer. Haven't figured out a way to e-transfer with people from the States. I don't think you can. But you can do PayPal with them. So that's it, last 2 pieces. And then I've stopped saving these, but I might save this because of the pocket, the clear pocket. I wouldn't mind having that, and it would make a good book board. So, but I'll throw the rest away. I was saving them thinking I could use them for something, but they're kind of too thick for most of the covers of the books that I make. Yeah, and I might just start randomly including some of this kind of thing in with Happy Mail because I keep forgetting to, and it certainly would be a way for me to thin it out and make room for more. So don't be surprised if you get something from me in Happy Mail and it includes a couple pieces of fabric, especially within Canada where we don't have to worry so much about declaring the contents. If the package is going to the States or other countries and it doesn't feel like it's just paper, then the lady at the post office says, oh no, this has to go as a package, and it costs so much more. So this will go in the recycling, this part, although it would make a really good sturdy cover if you were gonna, you'd probably want to glue your pages in, make a good long skinny journal. But because you have to pry up at the beginning to get it to come up, it usually does this and bends. So that's not a good candidate, but I may save this one and decorate, put like a ruffle or something across the top, and then just a single piece of paper here so that it's not, you don't want it wrinkly or bumpy. I might have to take the sticker off too, just so that it's a nice smooth writing surface. I might do one of those for a video for you, just to show you how to do it, use it. And then when I use something like this, I'll also put it into the playlist for the samples, and so you can follow along with all the ways that I use these things. So I hope you've enjoyed that, seeing that. There are other videos on the internet about this kind of thing. I watched a few before I started tearing things apart, but I've kind of just done it my own way anyway, so that's what I generally do. So anyway, thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Most of all, have a great day and happy crafting.